What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today I have a bunch of news for you guys. Starting off with some good news, then we have some bad news, sadly, for a few people that is very, very relevant and you should definitely know. And somehow also Microsoft and Amazon are involved. So it is a very interesting video. I didn't think I would talk about those two corporations here, but let's just start off with the good news. If you checked out Arena, Trial of Champions was silently reworked, and few people were a bit confused by this. They were like, wait, I know this name, but he isn't from Android, because now we have iOS people in here. There are some iOS whales in there. I think York here is from iOS, and so this is now a cross-platform game mode. Very interesting. Came with a little reward change, which is very relevant. I mean, like, if you ask me, Wraec, would you prefer Trial of Champions as a server-side game mode where we just fight the Android people, or as a game mode that is cross-server? I would say, well, cross-server is certainly more interesting because we get to fight each other, we get to fight iOS people, which I really, really like. We had this piece of fun also in the Void campaign, in the Void Horde, but this was like quickly ended and then just got stretched out a little bit, and then some people didn't care to clear Horde 10 or Island 10 and then didn't compete anymore, and now, yeah, it was a little bit weird. So having a classical PvP game mode with the iOS people in there is great, because that is really fun. We get to see the clash of metas, because if you don't know, really, we on Android and iOS there was always a little bit of a different meta. The meta is a thing that develops itself through the use of certain heroes. If the use of a hero becomes prominent, then a counter to it may also become prominent, and thus a meta establishes itself. And this meta can develop, of course, by people using the counter to the counter, and thus we create like a circle here. And this is a thing that is very interesting if you see those metas clash. Sometimes one side is in an advantageous situation, then sometimes the other. Overall, is a little bit of a difficult thing to do. But certainly it will be very interesting. The only thing that, of course, has to happen for something like this to work, and I have no team at all set up here, and I don't know a team that I had set up, because I rarely do Trial of Champions, I'll be honest with you guys. Not because I don't like it, just because I'm lazy and you have to set up your heroes usually for it, and that is rather annoying, I have to say. So yeah. It is also something that you need to see, because you have to adjust the rewards a little bit. That was the Wukong passive skill. Looks kind of funny. And they did so. They did adjust the rewards. And I mean, it makes sense. If you think about it, if you double the amount of players and you were ranked 2000 before, then, well, if the players are of equal power, then you will be ranked 4000 then. And just by activating cross-server, you shouldn't lose in rewards. But what they did is fairly interesting. They said, okay, we add a new thing, Radiant Soul Crystal, which I tried to find info on. DH doesn't answer my messages, so no idea. Can be used to awaken heroes in the Soul Temple if we can keep that currency. That is rather interesting, because you could hoard it a little bit and then kind of use it for awakening sessions or something. So really, really cool. Only problem there ends at like rank 500, which means with the new amount of whales that comes into the game, I'm afraid that actually you will not get any more rewards from this, actually, because, well, if you could push into top 500 probably. I snuck myself into the top ranks sometimes, just like attacking some weak people and using a few more attacks. So you could probably get some awakenings out of it, which makes it, if you do that, probably a positive thing. And what we also saw was like a screenshot that was sent by Broken Name, and we can take a look at this screenshot together. So this was the screenshot 9th of March, so the last season of Trial of Champions. We see I as the envoy of the King of Kingdom a Pudding. Okay, I should look into Ilero's door. It's funny. Congratulate you on ranking 853 in Trial of the Champion game. Your excellent skills and bravery has won you the following rewards. And we can see he earned himself 1,650 arena medals. Are they called arena medals? They are called glory coins. Okay. 1,650 glory coins, 870 diamonds for rank 853. That is what you have to keep in mind. 1,650 for rank 853. And let's compare that now. So now we are at 800 and 400 for the same range. 500 to 1,000, this is what you would get for rank 853. So overall, he lost 70 gems and 1,250 glory coins, which is quite a lot actually. So for everybody below top 500, the loot is severely worse, which I personally don't like. To me, it doesn't make sense. What would have made sense for me personally, if you had a lower account of glory coins maybe up here and added those radiant soul crystals in there, that's cool. But for the lower stages where you don't have the radiant soul crystal, I think you should earn at least the amount of glory coins that you did before, and then there should be an adjustment made to compensate for the extra amount of players. So if you, for example, were at 1,000, you drop to 2,000, that shouldn't net you a loss in rewards, in my opinion, because essentially you're performing the same. It is just that through this cross-server patch, the amount of players in the game mode was buffed. So there should not be a nerf right here. It should actually be more if you achieve the same again, because in all likelihood you would end up in this category because of the extra amount of players, and now I think this should actually earn 1,650 glory coins. So pretty severe loot nerf for all the players at the bottom. Pretty good loot buff for the players at the top, because probably the players will care more about Radiant Soul Crystals. So I think the Radiant Soul Crystals are worth a lot more, but redistributing more loot towards the top, I mean, it certainly raises the competitiveness a little bit. You don't want to lose. Like the thing that you sometimes miss if you look at this, like this is just a loot for 5 players. This screen is just a loot for 5 players, so it drops pretty severely. So you want to get place 1 because you get 10 awakenings. Pretty cool. For competitive game mode, kind of makes sense. And now should they change that, by the way? Maybe we answer that question before we go to something else. I think the top is alright. Like the top 500 loot is completely alright. What we have to take a look at is this. This is not okay. This should be like 4 or 5 times as high. Probably times 5 at least for some of that stuff. But like here, it still doesn't make sense. I think for this, I would even say times 7 or something. So it is severely too low for the bottom loot groups. And I think that should be buffed again, because they just don't get to profit from Radiant Soul Crystal, or add a Radiant Soul Crystal in for everybody so you get something for competing. As a singular awakening doesn't change the matter too much, and I think it would make people happy to have one more free awakening. But I probably wouldn't want that because of like Starry Gem farmers. Then again, there's probably 99% chance that this stuff is soulbound. So yeah. Another thing. And then something interesting happened, and it led me down a rabbit hole that I probably didn't really expect. So the thing was, I got a message from a dude named Spades, and what he sent me was just like a screenshot of Trial of Champions. And interestingly enough, this guy plays on the Huawei platform. And the Huawei platform is a platform that is connected to the Amazon server. And if you remember, we're like one of the OGs, write in the comments, by the way, if you remember that. We did an Amazon series, and this Amazon series was fairly interesting because Amazon and Huawei have a completely different server structure. They are connected in the same way Android and iOS are, but on their separate realms. So things like the Awakening session and stuff, and the auction house, they are completely different. They don't see the same copies that we see in the auction house. They don't see the same players that we see in the Awakening session. They have their own little thing, and for much time that was actually a very interesting thing to do, because you could easily complete the Awakening session, get some high tier awakenings. We did that, had a lot of fun with it. But now he sent me a screenshot and he said, well, Wraec, I am also in Trial of Champions. So apparently Huawei and Amazon got connected to Trial of Champion 2. So this is now truly global game mode, because it connects all the platforms, which is really interesting. I mean, you don't get to see the Amazon and iOS people, and in my opinion, it's a little bit funny, because one thing he said, and I definitely agree with, I don't think the reason that they connected them with this game mode is that they really wanted to like enhance the competition or something. I think the reason was that they didn't want to give them their own Trial of Champion game mode again, because now a lot of people would actually get the rewards. There aren't too many active players there, like 70 active players or something, so they would all get free awakenings every single week, no matter the competition. I don't think that they wanted to allow that, so they said, okay, we just connect you to iOS and Android, and then 99% of the players on Amazon, because those are severely weaker, let's say it like it is, most of them are a lot weaker. There are some that are like on the same level as Android whales, but most are very much so weaker. they can't really compete, so they just drown in here. And now to the next interesting part. Because what I was noticing when I tried to actually download the Amazon app again, because I don't have it on my new PC, obviously. I tried to get it on the LD player. Sometimes it worked. LD player really doesn't work well for me on Windows 11. This is now recorded, by the way, on Google Play Games Beta, and you can tell me if this looks good. I think it looks kind of cool. I think the performance is kind of alright. Can do that. Oh, again, there's no teams in there. Don't you hate that too? When you have to set up like all your teams again? Horrible. We just throw a few heroes in here. Apparently enough heroes. And I think like the performance is pretty good. Don't know if it looks better than LD Player though. So the thing that I noticed when I was trying to download the Amazon App Store was that I had a hard time finding the Amazon App Store, which usually wasn't quite the case. Usually you go on the website of Amazon, and on the website of Amazon you then find a download link for this App Store. Very nice damage over here. Not so much nice damage from our LFA. Can't even get past that. Okay, we definitely have to set up that again. And you get on the website. And usually there's a big download link. This time, however, I found myself greeted by this Amazon App Store on Android, and coins, which was the payment method on there, will be discontinued on the 20th of August 2025. And of course, one of the apps on the Amazon App Store is also Idle Heroes. And starting on the 20th of August 2025, any app downloaded from the Amazon App Store will not be guaranteed to operate on Android devices. Amazon App Store will be continue to be available elsewhere, including on Fire TV and Fire Tablet devices. I know many of the Amazon bros, they use the Fire Tablet devices to connect there, because there was always this issue with Idle Heroes not getting proper updates and not getting proper service, so it stopped working for me. And that was ultimately, by the way, the reason we quit the Amazon series, was that it stopped working for me on my device after I installed an update. And DH, it wasn't really helpful there. I think they didn't really want the Amazon server anymore. They thought, okay, nice, we get on there, it might be cool. And really, turns out, no, it really doesn't. And then they didn't really offer service. So I looked into it still more. By the way, if you still want to download this, there is an option. I think it is in one of those things. Is where is it? Let me find it very quickly. I need like all of them. Yeah. If I installed the Amazon App Store on Android, how can I reinstall it? If you uninstall the Amazon App Store, you need to reinstall it. Click here, and there's actually the download link, the small thing, if you try to find it. So that is one thing. And then we also have this report by Heise Online. Amazon stamps out its App Store for Android. Amazon no longer wants to operate its own App Store for Android devices. Apps installed via this store will only receive updates until August, where they report about the very same issue that we have right here, and also mention that Microsoft has worked with Amazon in the meantime, which is a very interesting side note that I want to open here, because I already said LD Player stopped working for me. And apparently some people say allegedly that there is a little bit of a connection here. Because what Microsoft offered was that you could, on your Windows 11 PC, go ahead and install the Amazon App Store to install apps on your PC. They posted certain device requirements. Installing the Amazon App Store, you must download it from the Microsoft Store, and then you were able to use this Windows subsystem for Android, which apparently worked great. I heard a lot of positive things about it. But right now, the state is a little bit different. If we click on that, we actually see downloading is impossible. It's in German here, so I apologize for that. And this app is not supported on my device, even though we have a very new Windows 11 PC. And it says that also from the 5th of March, it will no longer be offered in the Microsoft Store. So very, very interesting. We don't have any feedback from the Age regarding this right now. Neither do I have any news on this new game mode here in Trial of Champions. There is really nothing. I would have loved if they knew about this, and if they knew about this issue on the horizon that could potentially inflict Amazon players with the shutdown of the service, that they at least gave them some news. Personally, I would love if they just integrated the accounts over to Android and iOS. But there is a problem with it, and I said that in the beginning. Well, we kind of did have awakening sessions on the Amazon server, and so a lot of SS tiers, S tiers, and everything are in circulation on this server that were achieved pretty cheap and pretty easily. So those were now transferred over to the iOS and Android economies. That could have repercussions and certainly very many problems. I would think that the Amazon players right there, shout out to Seoul at this point, would be very much in favor of this way to treat this issue, but I don't know how the Edge is going to treat it. I could imagine that the option that this is available still on Fire TV tablets, that would be enough for them, and that they will say, okay, it's still available, somehow you can access it, so we don't do anything. But they haven't really answered about this in any fashion or any way. Also, what I kind of hate is this, well, a little bit of a strategy already of just releasing those updates close to the weekend, and now we sit here and now we have questions regarding the loot, regarding certain things, and of course nobody's there to answer them anymore, which is a little bit annoying in my opinion. But yeah, kind of a rabbit hole that we went down. Solution in the end for my emulator issue was definitely Google Play Games. I think it works fabulously. Works very nice. You can tell me down below. If you are an Amazon player, tell me what you think about this entire issue. And if you are a player on any server, we can talk a little bit about Trial of Champions, so feel free to comment down below. And I just wanted to hit this news video up because I think it's a little bit of a ridiculous situation that I fell down in regards to the emulators, and that it all was connected was kind of freakish to me. So yeah, with that, I think I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.